Here at First Call, we've kind of laid out a technical blueprint of how we approach things and the things that we want to make sure that we look at anytime we're looking at change. And COVID has undoubtedly been an opportunity for change, good, bad, or indifferent. Um, so, when we look at leadership, we've seen some really good examples of leadership here, but we want to make sure that the changes that have been pushed upon us, that we take stock, we understand, um, you know, take the good, leave the bad kind of thing, and that we don't change for the sake of change, but change for the right reasons. And make sure that we understand why we're making the change and how we're going to make that change, and make sure that we've got leadership enrolled in that change, that it's not an organic change and, kind of people going off the rails. Um, so, you know, Pam and Brendan have both identified changes that they've made
Mhm.
to accommodate things. And, with the leadership aspect here, you're going to start seeing, okay, now which of these changes are we going to keep? Obviously, we can't dial back, as Brandon was saying. You can't dial back and stop doing business the way that you did it during COVID, because maybe that's a better way to do it. Maybe that is a change that you need to absorb and keep. Um, and that kind of leads us into the flexibility quadrant. And in that quadrant, you start looking at, ways you can absorb that change and make it a permanent change. So Brandon talked about using Facebook to stream things, making use of, live streaming on the website. So here's where we would work with our clients to establish what the best tools are, the most secure ways to do things. Take a look at line of business applications. Are they accessible? Are they flexible? So you want to maintain that level of flexibility, because again, work is work, and the work that needs to be done isn't changing. It's
Yeah.
but you need to be more flexible in the how and what you do to get it done, and where your engagement points are. And that, lends itself to your network, to your applications, to your phone system. All of those are aspects that we would look at.
Mhm.
Um, and then on the workforce development, when you're looking at change for the sake of change is not really the best plan, but change that's going to benefit your users, your community, your constituents, and make their lives better, that's the change that we want to pursue. And again, that, the ability to have, someone from a technical background take a look at that from a 30,000-foot view and help you put those pieces together is really valuable. Um, and lastly, not to belabor this one, but when you're looking at cybersecurity and backups, Pam hit on this. You cannot be careful enough when it comes to cybersecurity, and any kind of change you implement is going to require that you revisit how you're backing up your data, what your continuity plan looks like, to make sure that all of the data that you need is going to be there come hell or high water. So you want to make
Right.
sure that you visit those plans.
And from a VCIO's perspective, Jess, you are somebody that would sit down and really help plan this out with the leadership of any of our clients, right? So this
Mhm.
is a lengthy conversation. It's a lot of discovery. It's not dictating what needs to happen. It's finding out how you need to work and then moving on and making it work for you, correct?
Right. This is what goes into that weaving technology through that organization. And it is not a lengthy conversation so much as it is an ongoing conversation. It's
Yes.
going to change, it's going to evolve, and you're going to need to stage gate that approach so that okay, we've solved this set of problems we went after, or absorbed this change, and now let's level set, see where we are and what is next, because it is an ever evolving thing.
And I
Thanks.
just like to add that I, throughout the 15 years, have talked to, met with, dealt with a lot of tech companies. The reason why I constantly keep with First Call is because it's not a, like you said, a dictative approach to that. They're willing to listen. These are the funds we have. This is where we sit. This is what we have now. And we work through the best plan. Jess, Robbie, even, our people who actually do our projects. I can't say enough good things about Mike Dodson. To me, that's really important, because to me, the taxpayer money is important to me. I come here every day to earn my paycheck, not just sit here and collect it. And so I think that's one of the greatest things about First Call, is that they will come in and they will have a conversation with you, not tell you what you should be doing.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for saying that, Pam.
If I can, to build on that a little bit, in our experience, and while our relationship with First Call is still very young, it feels like they've been around our organization for quite some time already. And I think part of that reason is because they were so willing to integrate into our organization, where we treat them almost as a department in our organization. They aren't a contractor to us. We've built a relationship where Jessica is a department head in our organization, and we appreciate the services and the openness of a conversation that we can have to address the challenges we've had, because there's a little bit of recovery on our end. We haven't had adequate IT services for some time, so we have to do a little catch up. And First Call jumped in, sleeves rolled up, no problem. They got a grasp on it. And I mean, talking about how we got through COVID, I just look at when we moved our software, in-house software, from server-based or it was based on a computer in our office to the cloud. That would have never happened if we hadn't had First Call on board. Further, if we hadn't been on the cloud, it would have crippled this organization through COVID-19, because we'd had somebody sitting in the office and all of the users of that software would have had to been together in the same room, whereas do a lot of it from home. And even for me, it's so helpful to be able to just jump on the computer and find a number I need remotely than it is to have to drive into the office and